Marine Le Pen surges in the polls as France turns to the Nationalist Populist Right. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest astonishing polls from Marine Le Pen, how even French President Emmanuel Macron's closest aides are admitting that she can win the presidency, and how France as a whole, including Macron, is clearly rejecting liberalism and moving to the Nationalist Populist Right. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you. As always, we're here to give you each and every day conservative hope in the midst of these turbulent times, helping you to think better so that you can feel better. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We would love to have you as a regular part of this channel. Some alt tech links down below for you Rumble fans. Make sure to click on that link below to subscribe to our new Rumble channel and help us to get to 100,000 subscribers there. And for you Parler fans, make sure to click on the link below and subscribe to my Parler channel. And let's together support the return of this wonderful alt-tech site. Before we begin, new studies are pinpointing exactly why we experience joint pains as we age, and these include the decline of collagen, enzyme attacks, and lack of lubrication from what's called hyaluronic acid. Now, many assume that joint pain is something to be accepted as we get older, but it doesn't have to be. The good news is these same studies also show that you can combat joint pain with the right ingredients. The problem there is that these ingredients are difficult, if not impossible, to get in your typical diet or supplement. And that's why I highly recommend tougherjoints.com. This product is the science-backed ingredients your body needs to solve joint pain by restoring, protecting, and lubricating your joints. So don't wait on this. Make sure to click on the link below. And as a special incentive, you'll get Tougher Joints at 51% off. It's 51% off, so click on that link below. Or you can also visit their website at tougherjoints.com. That's tougherjoints.com. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. There is a general consensus among pundits that Marine Le Pen, the leader of the Nationalist Populist National Rally Party, is closer than ever to seizing the French presidency. As Politico puts it, Le Pen is making waves in the polls as the French presidential election approaches in the next several months, at the beginning of next year. This from Politico, quote, Marine Le Pen has never been closer to seizing power in France than she is right now. Despite having kept a somewhat low profile in recent months, the leader of the far-right National Rally has reason to be confident. Early polls show her not only reaching a runoff round against President Emmanuel Macron in 2022, but winning a larger share of the vote than ever before. The implication, worrying to Macron's allies, is that the tactical voting, which has always worked to keep the Le Pens out of the highest office, may no longer be enough. But as she edges closer to the goal, the question remains whether she will be able to maintain her momentum and break through the barriers that has so far held her back. The polls are very impressive. They've been clearly moving in a direction now for months. Again, this is from Politico. An Ipsos poll last week put support for the far-right leader at 26% during the first round of the 2022 presidential election, with small variations depending on the lineup, and ahead of Macron in most scenarios. A Harris Interactive poll from the week before yielded similar results. So that's 5 percentage points ahead of her first round result during the 2017 election. The Ipsos poll also put her at 44% against 56% for Macron in the second round, as compared with 34 to 66% in 2017. In France, you have to have a runoff election. Someone has to get over 50%. But listen to this. Second round data leaked from the Harris Interactive polls predicting an even smaller gap of 52 to 48, which became the talk of the town in Paris. Even if polls so far ahead of the election are to be taken with a pinch of salt, pollsters say the fundamentals for Le Pen are strong. That poll, that Harris poll, was stunning. It had Marine Le Pen approaching or within the margin of error in a runoff presidential election with Macron. That was the first time we've seen anything like that. The results of this Harris poll were so shocking that even French President Macron's closest aides were saying that Marine Le Pen could indeed become the next president of France. A senior member of Macron's cabinet has indeed admitted that Marine Le Pen could indeed win the presidency. And so while Macron has certainly been stumbling and bumbling during his presidency, I mean, never really seems to have quite gotten his footing at any point as of yet. But while he's certainly been struggling, Le Pen looks like she's found her voice. And this has been especially the case with the crisis in France over militant Islam. The latest is that Le Pen has been pushing for a total and complete ban on Muslim headscarves in public, in all public places, in response to the crisis that France has been having with Muslims. If you don't know, several weeks ago, a knife-wielding attacker beheaded a woman and killed 2 other people at a church in the French city of Nice. The attacker was apprehended by police, and it was reported that he had been yelling Allah Akbar. The 3 murder victims were killed inside the Notre Dame church in Nice, not the famous Notre Dame in Paris, but in Nice, in what was a clear attack against the Christian West. And that triple murder came on the heels of the beheading of school teacher Samuel Paty, who was killed by an 18-year-old Muslim student who took issue with Paty showing derogatory cartoon pictures of the Prophet Muhammad as part of his lessons on the French value of free speech. Needless to say, the killing of Samuel Paty shocked the nation of France. The French were absolutely outraged over the killing, and they demanded that the Macron government crack down against Muslim individuals and groups that had thus far failed to assimilate into French society and embrace French values. And so, perhaps the single most unlikely actor on the planet has taken the lead role in pushing back against Islam in Western Europe, and that's, of course, Emmanuel Macron, who up until that point was considered to be the darling of the corporatist globalist world and the new leader, the de facto leader of the European Union project, with Angela Merkel's tenure coming to an end. And so Macron has been cracking down on Muslim populations in France. Macron is now becoming, in fact, the single most hardline leader against Islam in Western Europe. The transformation has been stunning. Almost immediately after the first murder, the beheading of Paty, the teacher, the Macron government began carrying out raids on Islamic groups. Many of those groups have been disbanded. A number of their members have been actually rounded up, and yes, they have been deported. They're placing limits on Islamic homeschooling. They've even begun taking control over religious funding of mosques, not allowing for any international funding. And a number of pundits and commentators are openly saying that the only reason Macron is doing this is because of the political threat that Marine Le Pen is posing. Look at some of these headlines. Is Macron moving to the far right for political survival? And the article goes on to detail how Macron has been under enormous pressure to abandon his left-wing globalist ideals and begin embracing the rising nationalist populism that's sweeping throughout France, as represented by Marine Le Pen, the head, of course, of the Nationalist Populist Party National Rally. Or look at this one. Macron's not worried about Islam. He's worried about Le Pen. So you got these pundits out there saying, yeah, don't buy this sudden transformation. It's just political. It's temporary. He's still one of us globalists. He's still one of the good guys, right? The good globalist guys. He just needs to fend off the rise of this nationalist populist right rallying around Marine Le Pen. But I've got to say, I think commentary like that really is just whistling past the graveyard here. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that Macron has lost faith in globalist liberalism and is clearly pivoting to the right in order not just to save his presidency, but indeed to save France. Now, before we get into that, I do want to make sure you got your free gift just for you. Make sure to click on that link below and download your own fake news antidote. We've updated our compilation of over 30 alternative news sites that I go to for my news each and every day. These sites are all conservative. They're all celebrating Trump and the nationalist populist revolt going on all over the world. And boy, do we need these news resources now more than ever. You can download your own copy of our updated fake news antidote completely free at the link down below in the pinned comment section. Have a ready list of your go-to sites that you definitely enjoy and will inspire you through these trying times. And it's yours absolutely free by clicking on the link below. It is my gift to you. So is Macron sincere here? Is he really turning to the right? Well, it's not just his policies against Islam. A couple of weeks back, we featured a video reporting on French President Macron's public denunciation of the woke culture of American leftists. It's been widely reported that French officials are seeing what's happening in America, our apparent societal implosion, and they're blaming the left. They're not blaming Trump, they're blaming the cultural Marxist left. And they're increasingly and openly worried that far-left ideals coming from American activists are a threat to their national identity and way of life. And so according to the Daily Mail, Macron administration is seeing what's happening in America and how we're literally splitting apart, and they are making it clear that the French government needs to do everything it can to make sure that this out-of-control woke leftism stays out of France, or they're going to start socially unraveling as well. That's precisely how French President Emmanuel Macron is interpreting the new American woke left. He gave a speech back in October entitled "The Fight Against Separatism." And in it, he warned against what he called certain social science theories entirely imported from the United States. French officials are openly denouncing what they're seeing as nothing less than pernicious and venomous ideas coming out of American universities. And these leftist cultural Marxist ideas, were they to be imported into France, would become just as much of a threat to French identity as they've proven to be for American identity. So what are we seeing in France here? We're seeing a turn to nation culture, custom, and tradition. We're seeing a turning away from the woke leftism of American cultural Marxists. We're seeing a turning away from open borders liberalism. And we're seeing a turning away from the notion that religion and culture do not matter in a globalist cosmopolitan world. Le Pen is rising and France is turning to the Nationalist Populist Right. And if the globalists lose France, as it looks like they already have, the end for them may truly be near. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it. It's on how Biden's voters are increasingly melting down with buyer's remorse after he's been in office for barely a month. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.